This wasn't a rumor. This wasn't a leak. This was the moment the curtain ripped open. Because when Tyler Perry finally said the words court and deadline, the fairy tale cracked straight down the middle. And suddenly, the unthinkable was on the table. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry facing the real possibility of losing the Montecito mansion that was supposed to symbolize their escape, their independence, their victory lap. Let's be absolutely clear about what detonated here. A man with nothing to gain from bluffing, a billionaire who controls his own empire, didn't whisper through back channels. He didn't hide behind sources. He spoke plainly. Repayment, 30 days, or court. Those weren't tabloid embellishments. Those were words delivered with finality. And when someone like Tyler Perry goes public, it's never the first move. It's the last. Rewind to the chaos of 2020, the rushed exit, the security panic, the frantic search for footing. While the world watched the drama unfold, Perry stepped in quietly. No cameras, no press releases, offering shelter, protection, and access when doors were slamming shut elsewhere. At the time, it was framed as generosity, Hollywood royalty helping displaced royalty. But generosity alone doesn't explain what came next. According to insiders cited throughout the record, that help didn't stop at a roof and guards. It evolved into money, serious money, the kind that fills gaps banks won't touch and contracts can't cover fast enough. The down payment shortfall from Montecito wasn't magic, it was bridged informally, urgently, without the safety net of public paperwork. No grand announcements, just trust. And trust is fragile when it's carrying millions. Here's the part no one wants to say out loud: you don't lend that kind of money to people who are flush. You lend it to people who need it now. And when payments slow, when messages go unanswered, when patience runs out, the tone shifts. Friendship doesn't explode, it freezes. Silence replaces warmth. And silence in finance is a warning siren. Perry didn't flip overnight. He went quiet. Interviews changed. The praise cooled. Questions about his support were brushed aside. Meanwhile, reminders were allegedly ignored. Calls went unreturned. And somewhere along the line, the relationship stopped being mutual respect and started feeling like expectation. That's when help becomes debt. That's when the language changes from favors to enforcement. So why did repayment stall? Let's kill the fantasy. Yes, there were deals, big names, big headlines, Netflix, Spotify, but contracts are not cash flow, and attention is not longevity. Spotify collapsed first, public, messy, and loud. A reported $20 million deal ended with ridicule and the word grifters ringing out after Bill Simmons said what others only thought. Netflix held on longer, but the pattern didn't change. The initial docuseries spiked. Of course it did. Curiosity always spikes. Then the numbers thinned. Follow-ups failed to land. By 2025, projects were barely registering. The brand sold spectacle, not sustainability. And spectacle doesn't service debt. Now stack the reality. A $14 million mortgage, crushing property taxes, full-time private security, staff, image maintenance, lifestyle burn that doesn't pause just because the headlines fade. When expected millions don't arrive, budgets snap tight and repayment plans quietly collapse. And here's where the isolation becomes deadly. After the split, there was no palace backstop, no discreet security funding, no emergency rescue. King Charles shut the tap. Prince William closed ranks. Sympathy evaporated after memoirs, interviews, and scorched earth tours. You don't torch the institution and then call it when the bills pile up. By 2024, the couple was alone. No invisible hand, no quiet bailout. So when Tyler Perry demanded repayment, there was nowhere else to look. No safety net, just a deadline. And court isn't about feelings. Court is about discovery. That's the nightmare scenario. Bank records, emails, texts, asset disclosures, every handshake deal dragged into daylight. Because once one private loan hits court, the others don't stay buried. Every bridge, every promise tied to future projects. Suddenly, the entire independence narrative is under a microscope. The Montecito mansion isn't just a home anymore, it's evidence. A gleaming asset with a question mark stamped on it. Notice what hasn't happened. No firm denial. No documents released to shut this down. Just silence. And silence isn't confidence, it's calculation. Behind the gates, sources whisper about frantic reviews, jewelry, residuals, inheritances. What can be sold fast if liquidity becomes survival? Meanwhile, Hollywood is watching. Other alleged lenders are watching. Because if Tyler Perry is willing to speak publicly, no one wants to be the last person waiting politely in the dark. This is how financial avalanches start. One voice breaks and the rest follow. And the cracks didn't stop at personal finances. Once Arcuel started wobbling, the dominoes lined up, ballooning living expenses, dropping donations, staff cuts, Irish attention that doesn't vanish just because notices are resolved. Audits don't care about branding, they care about numbers. When accounts freeze, lenders panic. That's not gossip, that's math. The Montecito house still looks serene from the outside. Roses bloom, ocean views glitter, gates close behind luxury cars. But houses remember numbers. Every unpaid dollar lingers. Every favor turned obligation echoes in the quiet. This home was sold as freedom. What it became was proof that freedom was borrowed. And borrowed things always come with terms. And this is where the illusion finally collapses. Because borrowed freedom never lasts. It only delays the bill. What people keep misunderstanding is this. Tyler Perry didn't create the crisis. He exposed it. He didn't sabotage a dream, he forced reality into the room. When deadlines replace favors, it's because every softer option has already failed. The Montecito mansion was never just a house. It was a statement, a glossy symbol meant to scream we made it without them. But symbols don't pay lenders. And when the money stopped moving, the story stopped holding. Independence that depends on silent loans isn't independence, it's postponement wrapped in luxury. Behind the scenes, the pressure multiplied. Streaming checks shrinking, reputation cooling, invitations drying up. Hollywood doesn't chase brands that wobble, it waits for them to fall. And once whispers start about unpaid debts, the doors don't just close quietly, they lock. This is why the silence from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry is so loud. No confident rebuttal, no paperwork parade, just strategic quiet, the kind that signals internal damage control. Because when court is on the table, every word becomes potential evidence. And make no mistake, if this moves forward, it doesn't stop with one loan. Discovery doesn't respect personal boundaries, it pulls threads, it exposes patterns, it forces timelines into alignment. Every handshake agreement suddenly has a spotlight. Every temporary bridge becomes permanent proof. That's why this moment terrifies more people than they'll admit. Meanwhile, the narrative they built starts cannibalizing itself. The speech is about financial independence. The carefully curated image of self-made survival. All of it buckles under one brutal question. If everything was working, why wasn't the debt paid? That's the question Hollywood is asking. That's the question other quiet lenders are asking. And that's the question the Montecito walls can't drown out at night. The irony is sharp. The mansion meant to prove they didn't need anyone may be the very thing that proves they did. Every marble floor, every security gate, every manicured hedge now carries the weight of unpaid promises. The house didn't fail them, it remembered the truth. Because wealth without cash flow is costume jewelry, and power without backup evaporates fast. Whether this ends in a forced sale, a last-minute settlement, or a courtroom reckoning behind closed doors, one thing is already settled. The myth is broken. The fairy tale independence era is over. What's left is accounting. The clock is still ticking. The lenders are still watching. And the Montecito mansion stands quietly, no longer a symbol of escape, but a receipt for a lifestyle that outpaced reality. This story isn't about betrayal. It's about bills. And bills always get collected.